Alright everyone, so the last part of this video is going to go into the actual solving. So the first two sections, we're just dealing with some labeling, defining some functions. Now we're going to get into calculating some values. So let's start off with a function, and a triangle I should say. It's a right triangle. We're given this length is 5, we're given this length is 12, and we're asked, can we find angle x? So let's identify the procedures that we've already done so far in our first two videos. First things first, directly across from our 90-degree side is our hypotenuse. We don't know this measure. Second, directly next to the angle itself, touching the angle literally, is our adjacent side. We're given this, it's 5. Next, directly across from the angle is our opposite side. We see the side length is 12. So let's label the things that we know. Adjacent is 5, opposite is 12, and we're not sure of our hypotenuse. But we don't need to worry about that because they're not asking us for that one. So we're looking for the measure of angle x. So how do we do that? Well, let's scroll back up here and take a look at our trig functions. We have an a and an o. So it looks like if we have a and o, we can either use tangent or cotangent. So those two ones in yellow deal with O's and A's. We have those, we can use them. Everything else has an H, so not going to be allowed to use those. So let's copy down tangent. So tangent of angle x equals opposite over adjacent. Okay, let me color code these so I don't make mistakes. So our A's on the bottom, O's on the top. All right, let's write these in. So O is 12, put that on top. And then A is 5, okay, put that on the bottom. So it looks like we have this function, tangent of x equals 12 over 5. It's like, great, okay, so I defined this thing, but how is it useful for me now? What do I do? So you actually are able to calculate these values of x. You can't do them by hand. They're going to be calculated values. So the way that we do this in the calculator is actually going to be a little bit different. So we're not actually going to be using that tangent button. We need to rearrange things first. So if you have an unknown angle, so specifically for an unknown angle, we need to use an inverse function. So what that means is we're switching our x's and y's around. So if we had before tangent of x equals y, we're switching these. We're going to have the inverse tangent, that's that symbol for inverse, again to the -1, inverse tangent of y equals x. And why are we introducing this new idea? Why is this an inverse function coming up in this case? Well, let's take a look back what we started with. Tangent of x equals 12 over 5. If we do the inverse tangent, now it's inverse tangent of 12 over 5 equals x. And that is something we can punch into our calculator. So if we're doing this in our calculator, we'd hit that second button. We would next hit the tangent button, and that would give us tangent to the negative first. We would then punch in 12 over 5, and then we would hit enter. And when we do that, the calculator would give us, all right, this is calculator steps off to the side here. Calculator steps in that order, it's going to give us an answer of 13. And that's actually the answer, x equals 13. So if we're looking back at what we were solving for to start with, our calculator told us it's 13. Well, it looks like that angle is a 13-degree angle. And we've successfully solved. So again, to emphasize this, if you're solving for an angle, we can switch x and y around using an inverse function, which basically just means on the calculator hitting the second button first, and then it's going to spit out the value.